So this is a video that I suppose has been in the pipeline for a while now, but at the same time I'm not exactly prepared for it. But I feel like I owe my fans something uh, because I recently finished the Slayer I was doing because I hit almost 200 mil and it was the end of the month, which is when I traditionally change which skill I train. Um, and I was faced with a rather big sort of decision to make again. I enjoyed Slayer, it was quite a nice skill, I had some fun doing it. I feel like it probably messed up something inside my head with how I view the game, which I might get into, but I wouldn't mind doing more of it in the future. Can't be bothered showing my loot or my log or any of that kind of stuff. Skill Watch Trickles video, it's basically the same. Just add in some chaos runes and take away like 3 imbued hearts from what he got, and you've basically got my loot tab. I've got a few less occults as well, and quite a few more chaos runes, but other than that it's fairly sort of similar stuff. But yeah, so when I finished with Slayer, I had a few sort of options sitting ahead of me that I could take. So the first one was sort of the basic, what had been the plan for the last couple of years plan, which was, go do my 30 something mil agility, go do, what's that, 7.5 mil fishing, and then finish up strength and be done with those 3 skills, and then find something to do after that. And this is a fairly tempting, fairly viable sort of option that I could have gone with. The second option I had was to go and runecraft for about 4 months or so, make myself about 700-800 mil, and then using that money I could have slayed for another about 4 months, doing a much more magic heavy task set, pretty much just doing barrage necreals and dust devils, and then I would have got 200 more magic at that point from doing that, and then I would have, after getting 200 more magic, I would have done the agility, I would have done the rest of the fishing and all that, and then I would have been done, I would have finished, and then I would have found something else to do. But the last option I had was to just kind of say, fuck it, and just go find something else entirely to do, which sadly seems to be the option I'm going with. And after looking down my sort of remaining skills that I don't have high XP in, I was faced with a bit of a dilemma because I don't particularly enjoy most of them. And the only options really that I have left are, I can afford as well, would be mining, maybe woodcutting, maybe thieving, and that's it. I don't really have any other skills that I want to do, so I've sort of decided, soft decided on doing mining at this stage. Still trying to figure out which method I want to do. Again, I've probably got a few sort of options that I've got there. So the first option is my initial sort of thoughts, which was to do just normal 2 STG at the quarry with a room pack, same sort of way that I did to get 99. I tried that out for probably 2 days or so. My plan going into mining was to give each method a week, was actually the original plan, give it a week each, but I've sort of reduced that number and I'm just kind of doing it for, maybe a day, maybe 2 days until I decide whether or not I actually could see myself doing that method for an extended period of time, because tertiary mining is an extended period of time. But I did, a couple of days of that. I had to go do some fucking quests beforehand. I had to do whatever that garden one is, Garden of Tranquility. It's a shitty long quest, didn't enjoy that. and I had to do some achievement diary stuff. I had to get my Varrock medium so that I could wear this lovely piece of armor here. Then I did some normal 2STG. It wasn't too bad. I mostly enjoyed it. It was still pretty much the same, but I remembered the issue that I had, which is waiting for the granite rock to mine. I don't like sitting there waiting for the granite rock to mine because you have to be paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to lose a lot of XP per hour, or you could do the other option, which is to just automatically move without waiting to see if you get the rock, and then you also lose a lot of XP per hour, but you don't have to pay much attention, and it's just not a nice sort of balance of mechanics. I've certainly romanticized the idea of 2STG in the past in these videos, and I think that sort of romanticism does still stand, because mechanically and like physically how you train it is still something that's extremely enjoyable if you have good rhythm, good flow, and you don't sit around waiting for yourself to mine the granite rock for 5 seconds waiting, and if you move slightly too early you don't get it, and then you fucking swear at yourself because you've moved away and the rock's still there, or you move slightly too late and you see your character stand there for an extra tick, and then when they do walk it just looks kind of jerky and out of sequence and it's not very nice. So that was that method. The second possible method was just go full modern and do the old 4 granite mining with the herb and the tar stuff, which was okay. A little bit of difficulty at first, sort of getting my head around the timing, but I've sort of sorted that out. I was having an issue where I was clicking too quickly because of the latency thing. I need to sort of play more actively rather than reactively. I need to click before something happen, and so I was having an issue where I was clicking on the granite rocks before they'd actually spawned back, and I just hit the empty rock and it wouldn't do anything because obviously there's no ore currently available in this rock. And I'd just be standing there and feel like an absolute idiot, and it was really pissing me off because I'd get 2, 3 sort of 4 rock cycles in, and then that would happen and it would just completely break my flow. But I worked it out, sort of got my head around the timing a bit better. It's been a while doing it, and I think it's not too bad of a method, really. I think I did about 40 minutes of sort of concentrated effort at it once I'd sort of got the mechanics down properly, and I averaged about 104k for that time. I watched an episode of Rome while I was doing it, so I had something else to concentrate on, but I think if I gave it enough time I could definitely get that XP rate up there. But I don't know if I actually want to do it for an extended period of time. The third option I had was the blast mine. I spent a couple of days down there sort of working my head through it, figuring out what you had to do things properly at the blast mine. I kind of like it down there, honestly. It's got a sort of timeless rhythm to it. You don't ever have to stop. You don't ever have to wait for anything. There's no aspect of randomness to it. It's all very sort of timed clicks where everything happens in the same cycle over and over again, and you just follow that cycle and you're done. And that's sort of something that's appealing to me. If I had to compare it to anything else in the game, I'd probably say it's a bit like Pyramid Plunder, but it's slower and there are no snakes, which is always nice. And the problem is it is rather slow. I was doing about 300 dynamite an hour, doing a really sort of consistent cycle where every 6 dynamite was done in the same sort of cycle, so I wasn't mixing it up very much, and I was getting about 300 dynamite done an hour, which at an average of 240, but over 240 XP per dynamite would get me bit over 72k XP an hour there, because I did 5,000 dynamite down there to just kind of test what things were. Who's dropping things over there? What are they dropping? What's going on? Who's all take that? Thank you very much. Haha, sucker is mine with the law. What was I saying? Yeah, blast mining was nice. I enjoyed it. Of the methods I've tried so far, it's definitely the one I'd like to do the most going forward. 2STG was easy enough, but I didn't like having to pay attention to the granite rock because I just kind of want to zone out. The clicking intensity was fine, I didn't mind that. I had some time to move my mouse around. 4G was difficult at first, but once I sort of got my head into the rhythm of it, it wasn't too bad. But honestly, I'm just too fucking lazy to do that. It's too much clicking. It's too much mental concentration. While I'm doing it, I feel like I'll never really be able to turn off and to pay attention to something else instead, which is something about RuneScape that's extremely appealing to me. So I don't really have much desire to spend 1500 hours manically clicking at like 350 or 400 APM or whatever it is, without being able to even use my mouse for anything else on the computer. So that one's kind of out of the picture at the moment. I might give it another shot later on down the track, which kind of leaves me with blast mining. But as much as I kind of enjoy doing it, I'm having a little bit of trouble sort of transitioning into it. I've pretty much just spent the last 7,500 hours working towards the 200 mil strength agility fishing goal, and I've basically just said fuck it to that and dropped the goal entirely and gone and done something else, which is kind of tough to sort out. Still kind of trying to center my head around things, get my head back into shape and get myself thinking properly about what I want to do and where I want to go in this game, whether or not I actually want to go anywhere in this game, or if I just want to finish off what I've already done. I don't know, I feel like I should probably take a break. I haven't taken a break in what do I mean? So other than earlier in this year when there were those disconnections, which don't really count because I wanted to be playing RuneScape at that time, so I wouldn't really count that as time off, honestly. Because because I was playing RS3 during that time, I logged into my RS3 account and played when I couldn't log into old school. But other than that, I think my last break was early fishing days, which would have been just under 2 years ago now. Took about 5 days off, a week off, didn't really play any RuneScape. I feel like I probably should do that, but at the same time I don't want to do it so early in starting a new skill. I want to at least get proper bearings in for a new skill before I go and do something else. I've been kind of good about that so far. I think yesterday I spent most of the day just lying in bed. It was quite nice because it was that sort of weather you get where it's overcast, it's raining quite a bit. It's got that sort of chill in the air where it's not really pleasant to be clicking a lot because your hands just feeling kind of icy. But if you're sitting in bed, you're lying in bed, it's absolutely perfect. It's nice and toasty. My bed's right next to the window, right next to quite a big window, so I can watch the weather roll by. I had a book, so I was just lying in bed reading a book all day. It's really awesome. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I might do it again, maybe today or tomorrow or something, just to sort of center my head and get my head back into shape and get myself thinking forward. So I don't really want to stop playing. I've still got a lot sort of going on in terms of more than anything else in terms of community sort of stuff, particularly fantasy EHP. Just to sort of a bit of a happier note than everything else I've said in this video, been all sort of doom and gloom. Oh, I hate this game, hate this method, hate this skill. Fantasy EHP is going well. I'm really happy with the community sort of reaction to it, and the really positive, for the most part, really positive sort of community reaction I've had to it. It's been really great to see people really putting an effort and participating and coming together and all that kind of stuff. I feel proud that I've contributed to that in some sort of way, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I got a couple of ideas about what I want to do with fantasy going forwards. But yeah, obviously I need to stay active in the very least so that I can keep up with that and my important administrating duties. And the number one skilling plan in the game, Hexus, because I think 2014, like late 2014, I'd had Jen for 4 or 5 months. I just kind of disappeared for a month and didn't say anything about it, and I feel kind of bad about that. Especially now I've been that for about three or so years, and I feel like I sort of owe it to the community to stay around and keep active and keep trying to foster the sort of atmosphere that we've got going on and help people grow and all that sort of bother. On an slightly unrelated note, I do aim to keep up the Slayer calculator. I mean, I got 75 mil Slayer. I don't think I mentioned how much I got, but yeah, I do intend to keep the upkeep around that, even though I'm not training the skill. Because interestingly enough, you don't actually need high Slayer XP to know anything about it. One of the original sort of reasons I made it was because I didn't know anything about Slayer and I wanted to work it all out. And I even after I'd made it, I had some people telling me, oh, what the hell do you know about Slayer? You've been training 2 years, and it used to annoy me quite a bit because unrelated reasons. But yeah, mining at the moment. Oh, by the way, I'm currently going around trying out a few other alternative mining methods in the game, such as this. I call it Mining Guild Mining, or MGM for short. It's promising so far. It's quite relaxing. I'd end up with quite a lot of coal at the end of it. It would be good. Have all that coal sitting around my bank. It would be it would be pretty cool to have all that coal in my bank. I might give this another day or so to see if it grows on me. So far I've been enjoying it. I want to try out that ring of gold ore on Karamja. That looks like it could be kind of fun out there. And there's got to be another mining method out there that I've got to try. I can't really do gem mining out of the teleport. Motherlode's fucking filthy. There's that Fossil Island one coming out. I don't know about that. It seems like it could be a bit too much of a group activity for my tastes, a bit too much active gameplay where I actually have to be paying attention to things, so I'm not sure about that method. I think I'll avoid that with a 10-foot pole. Sulfur mining isn't very good. I wouldn't recommend sulfur mining. But yeah, at this stage I'm looking to do blast mine. If I do continue with mining, it'll take me a year, so it's 2,500 hours sort of thing. I'd end up with about 2 bill in profit because it's roughly 750k an hour, and I get about 40 mil fire making XP from it as well, using just under 800k dynamite. The dynamite's cheap as hell because of raids. It's like 70 GP each. I think the stamina potions required to blast mine would end up costing more than the dynamite itself. But yeah, blast mining doesn't look too bad. It's not too bad in terms of EHP either. I'm getting 70k out of the 117 or whatever it is. I don't know. Wouldn't be too bad.